When hungry walleye focus on eating a particular type of bait fish, choosing lures that mimic the color, shape, and profile of the forage can be critical to success. Up next, Fish Head's Jon Thelen shows us how to match the hatch and catch more fish when shiners are on the menu.
There's one. Wow, looks like a real good eye to start our day. Right when I made that swing, slowed this crankbait down just a little bit. That's what happens when you turn the boat. One side, if you're fishing with a couple guys, one side will speed up, the other side will slow down. Now here, by myself, I'm just weaving back and forth a little bit, because what'll happen is I'll get the plug to speed up a little bit, then it'll slow down a little bit, and it'll just keep going back and forth. And that a lot of times can be the trigger to making fish bite. We're out here pulling crankbaits today, and this is one of my favorite ways to fish. Let me tell you why. I don't care what time of year it is, you can catch fish on crankbaits. And the whole key is just matching the hatch. It's matching, putting the right crank down there and matching what these fish are already eating. And crankbaits, they'll actually work spring, summer, fall. It doesn't matter when you're out there, they'll catch fish as long as you match that stuff. And here's the thing, I mean, I'm the first to say that there's a lot of crankbaits out there, and it makes it kind of hard sometimes to figure out exactly which one to buy. It's a great eater anywhere. I think I'll throw him back because we're gonna get plenty of them. But what we try to do is pick those cranks that have the right color, the right action, the right profile, all those things, and then match them to the time of year. And if you can do that, you can catch fish on crankbaits all year long. And it's a lot of fun because you can cover a lot of ground and you can get fish fast. Let's get this line back in the water, see if we can find some better ones. There's one right there. Looks like a decent eye. Cranks at this time of year, and you know, we're in the early summer period now. Cranks at this time of year though, they just catch everything. I mean, every species will eat a crankbait, especially right now, because they're no longer thinking about that spawn. They're thinking about eating. I mean, that spawn's long gone in their minds. Now they're thinking about eating. So what they're doing is they're scattering out now. Now they've moved out into areas where they're not quite as congregated. And when that happens, these fish will scatter. And once the fish like that one right there, and that's a great eater, we'll throw him right in the live well. But once these fish scatter out, the best way to find them is with a fast moving bait like a crankbait. So that's why I'm running these cranks today along here, because all said and done, I'm covering a lot of ground and I'm getting to fish fast. But let me tell you another thing about cranks that I think is so important, and that is paying attention to the action that you're putting down there. And all said and done, what happens is early in the year, fish are tuned in on tighter, littler baits. And they're tuned in on that because that's what's up in the shallows. So that's why we start the season with like a shad style bait, like that Wally shad. That'll run tighter. It's a smaller little profile. It might be thicker on top, but it's got a tighter running action to it. As soon as those temperatures hit where we're at today though, we just touched 60 degrees. This is the beginning of summer. It's no longer spring. That's when I'm gonna go to something like this Wally Demon, because not only does this have the right profile for where I'm fishing, but now I'm fishing a bait that's got a lot more action. And this bait, when it's running, it's wider, it's making more noise, and it's got rattles. So now you put all that together and it's grabbing fish's attention from a distance. Earlier this year when them fish were all packed up, you'd just come through a pack and I don't care what you're pulling, you're gonna catch fish. But now you've gotta actually track them down, you gotta get them to come to you. And that's why I've switched over now at this time of the year to that type of bait right there. I'm a lot wider, and you can hear this. I've got rattles in there, and that makes a huge difference. It'll bring them in here. So pay attention to the actions of the crankbaits you're using. Those shad baits, they'll catch fish all year long. They're dynamite in the spring and then again in the fall. Right now though, boy, I'll tell you what, you get into these periods early summer, that's when these things really start getting good. So what you want to do is always make sure that you got a whole selection of cranks, not just in colors, not just in sizes, but also different actions, and it's going to help you catch more fish year round. I think crankbait colors are just really cool. I love stocking up on all the new, latest, greatest colors. But let me tell you, there's a lot of different theories out there about why you use a certain crankbait color on a certain day. Here's my steadfast rule, and I try to live by this when I start. I might alter this throughout the day, but I try to start in the same spot every day. I try to look at it by water clarity. So the first thing I do each day, and this doesn't matter what body of water I'm on, I'll just look over the back of the boat, and I mean, I don't stand and hang over the back of the boat, but I just look over the back here with the motor down, and if I can see my stainless steel prop, I'm in pretty clear water. If I can't see it, I'm in dirtier water, and that's gonna start my day as far as what color crankbait I'm gonna put down there. If I can't see that stainless steel prop, I'm probably gonna start with something like that Fire Tiger. And this is one of my favorite colors, you know, whether you're in clear water or dirty water. But this thing in general just flat out catches fish, and here's why. In dirty water, this really stands out as a perch. Now, if we were in clean water, what I'll probably do is pick something that's a little bit more along the lines of that natural color of the perch. I'm gonna grab that crank right there, and I'm gonna throw that down. And that's gonna look like a perch in that really clean water. Then the other thing I pay a lot of attention to is the light conditions. And you look at today, we're going in and out of clouds, but I'm fishing shallow enough, clean enough water that I'm able to just stay in those natural colors. But if we get a bunch of cloud cover and all of a sudden this wind blows in here and dirties that water up, or we start getting those algae blooms that happen later in the summer, then I'm gonna go to that brighter stuff again. Oh, there he is. That's a good eye. This one's gonna be a little bit bigger than we've been catching, and probably bigger than we're gonna need for dinner tonight, but boy, he looks like a dynamite eye. He's got a bigger mouth coming in. You know, we haven't been on giants today, but we are just catching piles of fish. And that's kind of typical of this early summer time period. A lot of times, bigger female fish haven't gotten really cranked up yet. This is a better one. This is a great way to wrap our day up here. Let's make sure we get this fish in here. Look at that. Wow. How cool is that? That hook came out right there when I netted that fish. Wow, look at this walleye. That right there is what you can do when you come out and pull crankbaits. And don't fool yourself, you can do this year round. It's not just a summertime or fall tactic. These fish will bite it spring, summer, fall, doesn't matter. That's just a ton of fun right there. We'll let that fish go, but what a great way to wrap up our day.